Dudes, tunes,
and brews.
and brews.
We're dudes.
We're dudes.
Listen to tunes.
Listen to tunes.
Drinking some brews.
Drinking some brews.
We're dudes.
We're dudes.
Listening to tunes.
Listening to tunes.
And drinking some brews.
And drinking some brews. All right, and welcome to Dudes, Tunes, and Brews. This is your co-host, Harley Page, with my good pal.
Josh Froman here.
He's right next to me in a tank top.
Oh, yeah.
Showing it off for a hot, almost summer day.
Kind of have this like American British pride thing going on here.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a tank top with the Beatles on it, and it's enough tank top talk.
Tank top talk. Yeah, we're not those guys. If you want to listen to them, you could probably find them on the same podcast channel that you can find us.
Yeah, probably. I don't really get into other people's projects.
Or tank tops, generally.
Anyways, this is the inaugural episode of Dudes, Tunes, and Brews. And this is just something we've been kicking around for a minute, and we decided to finally just get together and do it, because every time we'd hang out, we'd listen to some music.
Drink some beers.
And do a little bit of research on whatever we're listening to educate ourselves a bit.
And we're dudes.
We're dudes. True. So then we decided to drink some beers and drop some education and
be dudes.
Have some conversation and maybe even a little bit of fun.
Tonight, and we're going to be listening to the first album to come from Eels. It's Beautiful Freak.
Yeah, from 1996.
It's a personal favorite of mine, and it actually is their debut album.
That is correct.
Many of you can remember the hit off of it, Novocaine for the Soul.
It is from the alternative rock genre, and it was released by Dreamworks.
Dreamworks, like the movie?
I don't know. I'm not going to click the link. I don't feel like researching it that bad, but at least I said the name, so
Dreamworks, yeah.
We should be legal.
Yeah, thanks, Dreamworks.
Anyways, let's see here. So that's what we're going to listen to, and we're also drinking some beers here tonight. We got a brew here called Cook's Light. It's a can. It's got a teal band on the top and the bottom. In the middle, it's white, and it's either a factory.
Is it an oil rig?
An oil rig or a steamboat in the center. I'm really not sure.
They rate it 3 stars. It looks like they give themselves.
They gave themselves 3 stars. Are those like Michelin stars? Or...
I'm really curious if maybe it's just a 3-star rating.
I don't know, because the bottom of the can, it does in fact say the best beer on earth.
That's a heavy statement.
It is a pretty heavy statement, but I have had this beer quite often, and I can say that it is not bad. It is not the best on earth. Sorry, cooks. There's plenty of other good beers to go out of the way to have, but this is, as Josh would say, it's a
good, crisp yard work beer.
That's correct.
I'm a big fan of those, and you're out there. It's a hot, sunny day. You want to brew.
That's right.
You don't want something heavy.
You don't. Yeah.
Hedges need trimmed.
Hedges need trimmed.
Cooks is going to get you there.
Yeah, as long as it stays cold, you'll be all right. So you need a koozie.
It also is, it's so cold, in fact, that if I was to have, say, a hedge trimmer accident, a little bit of Cooks on that cut.
There you go.
Boom, pow, delicious.
I wouldn't say it's disinfected, but you'll be better off than you were
Agree
before.
to disagree.
Anyways, I think we've reached the portion of the show here where we're going to crack these babies open. Are you ready?
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
All right, smooth.
Let's take a good sip here.
I'm gonna pour this in my mug. Normally it's good and frosty.
Yeah, usually.
Today I pulled it directly from the dishwasher.
Ooh, so it's not frosty at all. So in fact, that good cold beer is probably gonna get warmer.
It's potential, but it's so crisp and cold, as we've spoken about before.
So my beer is gonna be colder than yours for longer, because I'm gonna leave it in the cold metal can. I ain't too proud to can.
It's very cidery.
I can see that. It's just a light beer. It's nothing special. It's just a knockoff domestic. It's pretty cheap. We are. It's probably part Cherokee too. Who knows?
Yeah. Hey. Cooks is a very Cherokee name.
It is. So that's the beer we're giving. So should we rate this now or later in the show?
I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. They already rated it.
May as well. 3 stars out of how many?
Out of 3.
Out of 3. Okay, 3 stars out of 3.
It's out of a light beer. I would actually say this is. I would put this above a Coors Light.
I would drink this over a Coors Light any day.
I would definitely drink this over a Bud Light. It's got a good flavor to it. It's got a good body to it for
Yeah.
being a light beer, but it's not going to fill you up.
Yeah, it's not. It's
And
not.
it's never
filling
going
you
to let you.
down.
I can't say that. No, we can say what we want.
Who cares? We're not selling this. We're not making any money off of it.
So what do you think? Are we ready to listen to a little bit of music?
I guess so.
Get a little, get the ball rolling here. Get a
Let's
little Eels Beautiful Freak.
Let's get the ball rolling.
All right, let's do this. 1996.
Dreamworks, alternative rock, with a running time of 43 minutes and 53 seconds.
Ooh.
So yeah, like we were saying, we're gonna just play this music, and we're gonna have some discussion, some dialogue, some conversation, a little bit of research, and see where this night takes us. So join us. Sounds kind of old-timey to begin with. Not very alternative-y. Okay, there's something.
Yeah, at the time, fans of Beck and you had other bands like oh man, so many groups at that time period that were just on this frontier of playing with a lot of electronic sounds, with a lot of rock sounds from the past, and kind of creating this new kind of folky just sound.
Yeah, it's kind of like a folk electronic. I can already kind of get that.
Yeah.
I've never listened to the Eels or Eels.
Pavement was another group that was kind of
Yeah, I
playing
can
with
see that.
So it's certain bands now in hindsight, you see how much alike, but how different they were.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think they were kind of on the frontier of that as well. They had the kind of music that DJs liked. You could spin something like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't just your typical alternative guitar rock of the era. Plus production value, it's fantastic. It's very Cook's crisp.
It is. It's a good yard work album.
Yeah, I can totally work with the artist.
The neighbors wouldn't yell at you probably if you played this.
You can turn this up loud, but it's got some oomph.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of oomph. Let's dig into some of the information here. Huh, interesting. So the album Beautiful Freak is largely the solo work of musician Mark Oliver Everett. It is his first album using the full band name Eels. He did that in an attempt to have these records in the same general location as his other projects in the record store.
Oh, interesting.
Because he was working under just the letter E.
Yeah, what a fun approach.
That is pretty interesting.
Kind of keep it in the same era. Now, I know you've been in several bands. How many original bands have you been in? Like, pressed music on your own?
Not many, because, I mean, it's kind of hard to find people who are like-minded enough to want to do that. I mean, let's see. Probably 2, 3. I've done more cover work than original work, I could say, in band situations.
Did you ever did you ever sell merchandise or anything like that?
No. We never got serious enough in any of the groups I played with to do stuff like that.
See, that's what, any of the bands I was in, they were always, like, original stuff to a point to where, like, you're trying to sell a product.
Yeah.
But at a point to where we never got that big to where it was really an issue, kind of like with this. But every time I would get in a new band and think of a new band name, I would think of the letter association, kind of what he did. To a point, but then after a while, you just kind of come up with the best name for that band.
Yeah, I mean, picking a band name anymore is hard. It's like, who gives a shit what a name is?
Yeah, it's really kind of, and it's like there's that fine line between band name and album.
Mm-hmm.
And even song title, you can, I guess, between the three of them, you want that great sounding name between the
Yeah, I
three.
mean, technically, if you got a cool enough name and you're a good enough band, your song titles don't matter. Like, for instance, Led Zeppelin, if you're halfway into them, you probably don't even know the names of half their songs.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Or even Tool, for that matter.
Yeah. Bands like that, yeah, they're very album-oriented.
Mm-hmm. It's more the experience that goes along with the songs and such, rather than just names and labels of things.
Something else I think is interesting about this band is a lot of people want to call them the Eels.
Yeah, like me. I keep doing
Standard
it.
though, but it's Eels.
Mm-hmm.
So it's another one of those things. Pixies is another one of those bands.
Yeah.
It's like one of those.
A lot of people do that with Pink Floyd too. A lot of English people like to call them the Pink Floyd.
I think at one point I had heard that with Syd Barrett they were called the Pink Floyd.
Probably.
That could be an urban legend.
I don't know. We'll have to dig into that later.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those deals, but yeah, Syd Barrett though. How do you feel about him?
He was a kook. I mean, how else can you describe it? Like, I mean, I love Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, and David Gilmour, and I'll get a lot of people, saying I suck for this, but I don't really care for Syd Barrett. Everyone's, he was a musical genius. No, he was a pretentious turd on acid.
Yeah, I think he could have been a good folk.
He could have done something if he would have just left the drugs alone.
But there's a few things that he did that are just fun.
I mean, I like some
rock.
of his stuff, like his album, The Madcap Laughs.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's a decent effort. He's got some decent stuff on there. I mean, it's not Pink Floyd.
He's not going to go to that level.
No, it's just like a folksy, kind of like the acid drop in Bob Dylan.
It was for its time.
Yeah.
And some of those songs I like a lot. I've seen a lot of videos associated with the songs. And it's really cool.
Yeah, some of the early Pink Floyd stuff, it's all right too. I mean,
but obviously, post Barrett is like
yes,
a whole other.
Like every version of Pink Floyd was post somebody, and they all had their qualities and their negatives. Like you had post Barrett, which was Roger Waters and David Gilmour, and you had post Waters, and it was just David Gilmour and Rick Wright coming a little bit more to the forefront there.
What albums were those? When did that start?
When Roger Waters left? Waters left, let's see, The Wall came out and it was huge, and then the Final Cut was done, which was pretty much just a bunch of floor scraps from The Wall. And I love that record myself. It's really, really heavy Roger Waters album. A lot of World War II imagery and political stuff. So if you're like a history buff, sure. But that was the end when Roger Waters left. I don't think Rick Wright even played on that album. It was just Roger, David, and Nick, the drummer. And then Roger left, and then the 80s happened, and the deep 80s happened. The real 80s.
Yeah, for like those type of bands.
Yeah, and then Gilmour grew a mullet, and Rick Wright came back, and Nick Mason did their thing, and they did like really three albums in the 80s, early 90s.
Oh man, what you talking about the 80s deal makes me think of the deal. There was a Jimmy Page group that he was in with like
with Paul Rogers.
I want to say so.
The Firm.
What a group, dude. Like it's one of those.
They had like 2 singles, but I don't remember either one of them right now. I think one was called Radioactive, maybe.
It was okay, but it's just like I don't know if I've really talked to you about much on this, but it just feels like some things are just like the term butt rock, basically.
Yeah.
To a point to where it's like you just are so good that I shut off.
I believe we touched on this last week in last week's episode.
Yeah, during the pilot episode.
If you do way too much that's really flashy and stuff, it's like, yeah, it's cool. Kind of like, you ever seen Eddie and the Cruisers?
Parts of it.
Have you seen Eddie and the Cruisers 2?
Yeah.
There's a scene in there where...
In which one? Both films?
No.
Okay, I was going to say they have the same scene. This is great.
In the sequel, there's a scene where Eddie is talking to this young kid who's a guitar slinger, and he's like, check this out. And Eddie's like, dude, come on.
This is why you're selling guitars.
He's like, you can play flashy, but no one's gonna remember.
Oh, he says that?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
so then the kid's like, his head explodes, and he calms it down and tries to be more like David Gilmour, you could say, more melodic and harmonious and technical instead of flashy. But that was the whole reason David Gilmour played the way he did, because, as he said, he could not play fast and flashy.
Yeah,
it worked.
I'm in the same boat. I get caught up in that. I like the notes portion of it, but it's like when you try to fill all those gaps. So some people like you're pretty good at this, being able to play rhythm and lead accents.
Yeah, something along those lines. I'm kind of the opposite though. When I'm playing lead, I get caught up in trying to play as many notes as I can, and it sometimes comes off as total crap.
Yeah, it's kind of a hit or miss sometimes on that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I watched Eddie and the Cruisers too, and he taught me to tone it down a little bit.
See, for me, the sequel that really taught me about music was Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. And I'll tell you, it taught me that if you want to be somebody, and if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention.
Oh, lordy.
That's right. Yeah.
I gotta
back in
see
the
this
attic.
movie.
You've never seen Sister
You
Act
talked
2?
about this in the last episode, and I still have not seen it.
Oh wow! See, yeah, this is one of those films that'll change you. Young Lauryn Hill.
What was that? Okay, what was that one movie with? I think it was Eric Idle and a big dude, and they like hid in a monastery. They were con men, or they escaped jail.
Eric Idle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Eric Idle
Do I know Eric Idle?
from Monty Python.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's who it was. It's one of those crappy like '90s movies that easily forgotten but easily remembered.
Yeah, the kind of thing that I want to see now for sure.
Just search for Eric Idle nun movie.
Now, what's the one movie that they did that Monty Python did? Have you ever seen Life of Brian?
I've seen bits and pieces. I like the Flying Circus a little bit more than the actual movie efforts.
There's a lot of that I haven't really seen. I haven't really touched on.
I thought they were so eclectic. The Flying Circus was more of a better. It was a better outlet for their creativity and their humor.
What caught me on that was the animation. Any type of Monty Python animation I've seen has always been very like in depth. You know, it seems like a lot of paper.
Yeah, it looks like they just cut up like encyclopedias and newspapers
it's very
and stuff.
neat. And I've seen some stuff that the South Park guys, as we'll just call them that as a collective, they've done some like tributes to them in some of the South Park episodes and stuff, and it's really neat looking. You know, because they do a lot of paper, or they did. I don't know. I think they might still do that. There's a documentary they did recently where they explained it.
Interesting.
I believe it's called 6 Days to Air. This here would be the title track.
It is, and it was released August 13th, 96 by record label Dreamworks. The first album released on that label.
So it was the Dreamworks that we're talking about.
Probably.
Wow.
The ones that did Ants.
And no.
A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life.
That's right.
Because they work with the Disney crew. Ants, I believe, was maybe Warner Brothers.
Maybe. Ants wasn't very great.
No, Dreamworks. I don't know. That's you didn't like Ants?
Not really.
I think in hindsight
They tried too hard.
It had Woody Allen.
Yeah, I know.
It wasn't as good as the B movie with Jerry Seinfeld. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that.
That is surprisingly pretty good.
Huh.
How many Jerry Seinfeld movies have you seen?
None.
None. And so it was like, oh, this is what we get. And it's an animated B film, and it's okay. His best friend is Matthew Broderick.
That just goes to show he had so much damn money, it didn't matter what he did. He's like, I'll do your B movie just for fun.
I'll do your B movie.
You know, I got nothing going on Saturday.
What's the deal with this B movie? I'll show up and I'll be a bee.
Hello, bee. Hello, pollen.
Hello, pollen.
You know what I'm saying?
He just doesn't even want to be a worker bee. He wants to be
a dentist or
He wants to
something?
be a pollen jockey.
Okay. You're pushing pollen on the streets.
Pushing pollen on the streets, that's what they do. They bring it back to the hive. They go, you know, it's cleverly done though. If you get a chance,
I might have
the movie
to.
with Jerry Seinfeld is good. I'm a Matthew Broderick fan, so it kind of weighs into.
I might have to go out of my way for that one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's about 10 years old now, maybe. It's pushing about 10. And with that, everyone, we're actually going to have what we are going to do here weekly, which is our word of the day.
Word of the day.
Word of the day. Word of the day.
Word of the day, everybody.
And the way we're going to go at this is simple words. We are going to define it both what is in the normal dictionary,
Normal dictionary.
as well as what we're going to find in the urban dictionary.
Oh, hold on to your hats, folks.
Because surprisingly, a lot of normal words are in both.
Yes, they are.
So today's word is spatula.
Spatula.
Now, what do you think of when you think of a spatula?
A flat thing that turns pancakes, or a rubber thing that scrapes bowls.
So now we're going to go with just the standard Google dictionary on a Google search here. All right, it just says it's a noun, an implement with a broad, flat, blunt blade used for mixing and spreading things, especially in cooking and painting. Seems pretty vague to me. But it's more for spreading of things and more for that kind of nature. But it also says that it's a broad, flat, blunt blade used for mixing and spreading things. Now, I know that this thing when we took the home ec class, you kids might be calling it family and consumer sciences.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it these days. I don't know the PC term.
Learn how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah, yeah, for real. I learned how to make Kool-Aid. They said cup and a half is plenty of sugar. What are you doing with that other half cup?
My best memory from home ec was we had these big cheese blocks for a project that day, and I stole one.
Oh, you stole it.
I
now,
stole the
like
whole
a
block.
Velveeta cheese block?
No, it was like a
premium real deep
It was
cheese.
like one of those like family-sized soup can looking logs of cheddar with like the plastic all shrink wrapped on it and shit. Like it was like an $8 piece of cheese.
Dude, it sounds pretty good.
And I stole it.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
Hey, statutes of limitations.
What is the limitation on cheese theft?
Well, that was like 12, 15
Do we need to
years ago.
research that tonight?
Oh, come on.
Oh, boy. Now let's go with the Merriam-Webster. Is it the Merriam-Webster dictionary?
Okay.
Okay.
I think they just included the word turnt.
Turnt. That's grammatically correct, though. I'm going to go with it. A flat, thin implement used especially for spreading or mixing soft substances, scooping or lifting.
Why don't they consider scraping? You know, because they got the.
Well, I've always, the rubber spatula, and then the thing that people call a spatula is a pancake turner.
It's a turner.
Well, you know what? We don't care. That's a goddamn spatula. We'll use it. We'll take it.
Turner and hooch.
Turner and hooch. Now, what are the kids calling a spatula these days?
Oh Lord, let's go to the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, Urban Dictionary, folks. Here's what we got. When a male, okay, here we go.
Use the clean version.
A woman who turns straight men gay. It started out okay, but I always turn them over. I'm a spatula.
Oh.
Oh no, she didn't. We got a cooking utensil used to flip food, usually eggs.
Okay.
A synonym for a large amount. SpongeBob uses a spatula to flip burgers.
Okay, well.
Well, I think we can also say that Rob has a spatula of work today. He has to clean the dishes, mop the floor, walk his dog, and drive his mom to the store. Okay,
all right.
That's what I'm going to associate spatulas with from now on.
Right.
SpongeBob, obviously, and taking my mom to the store.
And that was the word of the day,
Word of the
everybody.
day.
Word of the day.
Word of the day.
Word of the day.
Urban. Keith Urban.
Anyways, so I think we finished our first beers.
Cooks. I think it's time to get beer number 2.
Beer number 2. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to take a word from our sponsor. So let me just get that pulled up here and make sure that it is correct and ready to roll. This is a word from our sponsor.
What are you doing sitting there when you could be chasing tail in a new Ford? Come on down to Dunkel Motors where I'm freaking balls deep in Fords. Hey, we just renovated the whole place out here. You gotta go to the bathroom. We got stand-ups and sit-downs. Hey, I'm giving cold ones to anybody who buys a new Ford. Bad credit, slow credit, no problem. Come on in. I'll get you the Ford that you deserve. So come on down to Dunkel Motors where I'm freaking balls deep in Fords. Balls deep in Ford.
All right, we are back.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to Dudes, Tunes, and Brews.
Dudes, Tunes, and Brews.
I'm Josh Froman.
I'm Harley Page.
Oh, man.
And we are two dudes.
Drinking our second brews.
Brew number 2.
And listening to...
The Eels Beautiful Freak. Oh, don't you crack that yet. We got to crack these in unison. This is the thing we do here where we crack these beers. Crack those beers.
Go. Do it together. I would never think about cracking this beer without you, bro.
That's right. Bros who crack beers together.
Share their fears together.
I was going to say do podcasts together, but whatever.
Same difference.
Same difference.
I actually have a huge stage fright. Just kidding.
Not really.
Yeah.
I used to be afraid of spiders, but not really anymore.
I don't like
then
spiders.
I got big.
Or snakes.
Dude, I was in my shed today, and saw this spider. It was like 2.5 inches round.
Ooh.
It was huge, so I like gawked at it for a minute.
Did it kind of give you a look like, what are you looking at?
Well,
Do you like what you see?
I tried to like have a conversation with it, but it didn't really feel like hanging out.
And you come back and you see it, they had written some pig.
I hope. Or radiant. One of the two.
Radiant. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah. But then it ended up smelling like rotten eggs in there, and then you had to get out.
Pretty much.
Shouldn't have had beanie weenies for lunch for the past 13 days.
Beanie weenies.
I think that's like medically like...
That'd probably hurt you.
Yeah. But you'd be clean and proteined up, I guess. Like,
Yeah, beans are good sources of protein.
yeah, and so are the wings. Beans and wings, right?
Beans and wings. That's double protein.
Yeah, it's all protein and fiber.
Alrighty. So, Beautiful Freak by the band Eels, 1996.
1996.
Let's see, there was 4 singles released from this album to promote it. Novocaine for the Soul in February of 96.
Personal favorite of mine.
Susan's House in May
That's
of
also a very good
96.
track. Yes, yes.
Your Lucky Day in Hell in September of 96. And the title track the following year.
Your Lucky Day in Hell, I believe, was also on the Spawn movie soundtrack. if I'm not
Ooh,
mistaken.
little tidbits from Froman. Let's see. Ooh, My Beloved Monster would appear on the soundtrack for the Dreamworks animated movie Shrek 5 years later.
I'll be darned. Now that's a soundtrack I'm kind of curious to look at now.
Right?
Yeah, what a cool song to include on the... This is a pretty solid album, I'd have to say. Like, the way it pulls you in at first with Novocaine for the Soul, it's like, alright, it's got a punch, pulls you in, it's catchy. But then it kind of goes off to like more of like this melodic, okay, I'll let it do its thing. And then it kind of pulls you back into this like head nod, sad, melancholy place that there's a sliver of hope there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's hopeful, but speaking of pulling you in a contemporary review of the album, Q, I guess it's a magazine, praised the album as a complete musical vision, a genre-spanning soundscape that reels you in with its myriad hooks.
I concur.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I'm digging it. Like, I'm not like, oh crap, this sucks, I gotta turn it off. It's pretty smooth.
You've had a hard day.
Yeah.
You could listen to some Eels.
Man, you kick back with this record and some of these Cook's beers.
Cook's Light. Does Cook's have a full flavor?
They do. It's a lager, I believe.
Yeah?
Kind of like a standard.
What color is that can?
It's a full flavor.
It's just something I'm thinking of. Like,
I think it's
beers
red. It's like Cook's Reds.
Yeah, I'm thinking of these beers just like being like cigarettes.
Right?
What's the difference?
They're both gonna kill you.
Yeah, they're both delicious.
So enjoy them while you can. But yeah, I mean, this beer and this record and I believe John Candy said, the love of a good woman. That's all you need.
And the thing is about John Candy is he was getting loving from a good woman, maybe?
Probably. I wanted to hug him.
Yeah, sure.
Who didn't want to hug John? If you didn't want to hug John Candy, then you have a problem.
You're a son of a bitch.
That's right.
John Candy he's like, it's like everybody knew him, but nobody really knew him.
I mean, the fat comedians. I mean, I wouldn't hug Chris Farley, but John Candy, come on.
John Candy, dude, he's like the uncle everybody is.
He'd probably tell you to get the hell off of him, but I'd give him a hug.
what's up with Uncle Buck? Now, didn't they make a new show called Uncle Buck?
Oh,
Does it have any
Mike?
correlation?
No, it was Mike Epps as Uncle Buck, I believe.
Like, but no correlation with the movie at all?
I think it was like the same story, but it was like spun for like the CW or something.
Oh, it's crazy when they do that, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of... I saw that come up on the telly one day. I'm like, what? What is this going on with this? You know, it's interesting when they do certain things with shows now. Like, speaking of certain, like Fargo is one of those deals. I really liked that movie, and then I heard that they were making a series of it, and I was like, what? How can you make a series off of that? You know, that's a movie. And so I just like left it alone, and it shelved it for a couple years, and then it was just one of those things. I turned it on, and it was just like, oh, this is a whole other thing. Like, this is like, these are individual stories. It's like they made 3 seasons of that show, but each season is almost its own movie.
See, shows like that are nice. Like, I like.
Well, the newest one that everybody is ranting and raving about is True Detective.
I watched the first season, started watching the second season. The first season was a bit better, I thought, but
it seems like they could probably got.
It's interesting because it's kind of like American Horror Story, where you have the same premise every season, but it's different people in different situations.
I like that. It really kind of gives it a whole different touch to a show.
Yeah.
What do you call that whenever it's like 3 stories in like one episode or one movie?
Oh.
I always forget that word, but it's like my favorite kind of film and kind of, you know, but you got these short stories like Creepshow. Creepshow's always been one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, like almost like a compilation of stories.
Yeah. So and it's like, I've always loved those kind of films. And then like the Futurama episodes where they've done that, it's been really cool because it's like, I don't know, it's just interesting how you can piece one linear story based off of these little parts that aren't interconnected whatsoever. It says compendium is a word that I wouldn't use.
Yeah, compendium. I had a book once. It was like the Magician's Compendium.
Anthology.
There we go.
That should be the word of the day. Now, this is something else we should do on the show. I know a lot of words, but it's like in context. Sometimes I get lucky and a word will pop up.
Sometimes when in Rome.
Yes. When you're in Rome one day, you're like, I don't know. I normally wouldn't use that word, but it just like blew right to that sentence.
Yeah.
And then sometimes it's like a word I would use on the regular, but then it's just like, you've had 2 Cook's Lights.
And it's like, it's useless. The word is useless.
Anthology. We should do this though, where if we ever have like a moment where our brains shut down, we'll write it down. Use that for the next Urban Dictionary. I wonder what the Urban Dictionary is on anthology.
Oh Lord. Anthology.
Oh, now you're just making that up. You're just memeing it out now.
Yeah, I'm thinking in memes again. Goodness.
You need to meme what you say.
And say what you meme.
Say what you mean.
I usually say what I meme, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
You're just a picture with words,
right?
And you're like, I'm a 3-tier meme, babe.
You said that the other day, but I don't even know what that means.
That's lingo.
I'm thinking when you say 3-tier, I'm thinking of a cake.
Oh, well, now you got me thinking about cake. Can we have a 3-tier lasagna? Where like one layer is like baked spaghetti, and another one is like fettuccine. I don't know, another pasta.
Huh.
I feel like there's never enough pasta.
No, I mean, neither did Mario and Luigi.
They're my role models. You know this.
Oh, she made a lot of pasta.
Sure made a lot of pasta. I'd eat it. I'd eat that pasta.
I'd eat that pasta.
I've never met a lasagna I wouldn't eat. You know what I mean? Like, that's just life.
Hey, lasagna's lasagna, bro.
Who's your favorite president?
Who's your favorite president? I don't know, Trump?
No! You mean like current president happened? I mean, it's like
that was a joke.
Oh.
You said, who's your? I said, Hoosier, like Indiana.
Oh.
So, duh.
What do you think about Greg Pence?
Let's not go down this avenue on this show.
I'm just saying, I wish he was like the Bubba Carter scenario. That's the only thing. I don't know anything about anything. I don't even care. I'm just saying the reality of it is like, I want another Bubba Carter. You know what that fool did? He got it to where we can microbrew shit.
Okay.
And he's a big deal of like current times, and people don't even know it. Like, people should be like Bubba Carter's the man. Because when Jimmy Carter was president, his brother was brewing some beer, and so they changed it over to where you could brew at home again. It was illegal prior to that. So it's like, and Bubba beer came out. It was like a pop culture phenomenon.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, it's because it's way before our time in the 70s.
Oh, 70s. Well, yeah, Doug Carter.
I keep forgetting how old you are.
I'm not that old.
Are you born during the Carter years? I hear that's when they started making cars smaller. That's all I know.
Started making them out of plastic.
They tell me lots of things that I put into my brain stack. Now this song's hitting pretty hard.
Yeah, it's sounding pretty loud there. Our talking's still louder than it, so we're still doing good on the sound meter over here.
Oh yeah! Bubba Carter's got a Facebook now, so that's cool.
Huh. If anybody has the album or the book, 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die, which a lot of people have that book. Come on, it's on the back of your toilet.
Oh, dude, I would put it under my coffee table.
There you go. So this album, Beautiful Freak by Eels, is actually on the 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. So I guess check on that one. Big check.
Definitely would have to agree.
Well, we'll be done here about 10 minutes with this album, and then we will give it a good talking about.
You beautiful freak.
You son of a bitch.
Crisp yard work beer.
Not only is it good for doing yard work, it makes me want to do yard work. Where's the rake, man? You got a rake?
You know what? I want to retread my statements about Bubba all this time. It's Billy Carter.
Billy Carter.
I've been calling him Bubba.
Billy. No wonder I know who you're talking about.
Oh, no wonder. That's the truth. Now,
let's see. Okay. The Eels Beautiful Freak. Yeah, let's see here. Some guy named Butch played the drums, did some production, and then backing vocals. A guy named E did some vocals and guitar and some piano noodling. And Tommy Walter did some bass guitar and vocals. There's a bunch of additional musicians. Nobody I've heard of, but I'm sure they're great. They added something to this album.
Now, you want to know something really interesting about Eels? Is a couple years back, Steve Perry showed up at a club and they freaking played some Journey songs with Steve Perry.
Really?
Yep.
I would almost watch that.
It's totally awesome. It was like 4 or 5 tracks.
Huh.
Yeah, he showed up and it was kind of like a semi coming out of retirement moment.
That's pretty cool.
So
I can get behind that.
Respect.
Even though I'm not a huge Steve Perry fan or Journey, I do not like.
I like Steve Perry. I think he's chill as a mug. Dude.
He's probably a cool dude, but I can't stand like.
Journey's lame.
Journey is lame.
But on that level of like what we were saying earlier, it's like they're just so talented and
yeah.
They got what they're doing. They're a franchise.
I don't know. Yeah.
Or a corporate. Well, they're kind of a corporation, I guess. I don't know.
They're cheesy.
They're a business.
True.
Of some sort.
Right.
Some margin.
They probably have Swiss bank accounts.
Probably bank and
Or
Swiss.
Swiss rolls, like cabinets full of them.
Yeah! If you have more than one cabinet with 2 unopened boxes of Swiss cake rolls, like you've made it.
Right?
Like money is no money doesn't matter. Man. And you're just like, I'll save those for later.
Yeah.
And you do. Because you got another cabinet with some other Swiss cake rolls. And then like the vanilla ones too, with like the strawberry filling. That's weird. I don't know how I can feel about those. I haven't eaten those since I was a kid.
Oh man.
The chocolate ones are kind of waxy.
Yeah.
Delicious.
All that old excuse me, those snack cakes are they have a weird flavor now as adults.
Yeah, because my favorite, now this isn't a snack cake, but it's in the same department with a Little Debbie Star Crunch. Loved them as a kid.
I ate the crap out of them as a kid because my mom bought them all the time.
Oh,
The big ones.
So
but
good.
now I can't stand them. It feels like you're chewing on, like, I don't know,
Wax.
a brick with honey. or something. It's so hard to eat.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't like them.
I tell you though, the zebra cakes used to be my favorite when I was a kid.
Zebra cakes.
I could pound those things, but now they leave like this weird film in my mouth.
Yeah, dude.
And I can't stand it.
What's wrong? That conspiracy theories on next week. We'll talk about wax and foods.
Right?
Like, man. And what about? And what's the deal with kettle corn? Same deal.
Kettle corn.
It's delicious. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Buttery. It's salty. And then it leaves that like wax in the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
And you're like, man. And then you eat the whole bag.
And then you feel like even worse.
And you're like, ooh, I guess I should go ahead and eat these Doritos, and it probably like help. And it does.
Yeah, I mean, what is with that, man?
I just think that.
Hey, what's with that?
I just think that scientists don't really think it through.
No.
When they're creating things as delicious as kettle corn wax.
Yeah.
Like butter. Like,
But then, like, apples and produce have a thin layer of wax. But you eat them.
yeah, that's true too.
And you don't notice it.
Have you ever eaten an apple directly from a tree?
Oh, yes.
Have you ever eaten an apple directly from a tree?
Was not expecting that. I actually picked one off a tree once that said "Do not pick," and I ate it, and that was the sweetest apple I ever had.
And humanity's been doomed ever since.
Right? I didn't think about that.
Oh, Adam, you sack of beans.
Wah wah wah.
And I thought you ate a chicken sandwich.
Wah wah. I need a trombone so I can actually do that.
I wish everybody had a trombone, just cause.
Yeah.
It makes life more interesting when you see like people like walking with a trombone, just.
Yeah, but eventually they get banned for like, you know, someone hitting someone in the head, going down the street, just playing the crap out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
And they get banned. Yeah, a trombone would get banned.
And of course, people always come up and so they gotta make a dirty joke about a tromboner. And you're like, dude, what is this? What are you talking about? And they're like, whoa.
I think if that was the case, the word tromboner would become like, you know, just a word. Like, oh, he plays trombone. That guy is one tromboner. Well, now, Susie, she's a great tromboner.
I've been tromboning for weeks.
Tromboning.
Trombonator.
So, yep, Cook's Light Brew and the Eels. Or Eels, my apologies to Eels.
You know, there's another band called Doves. I never listened to them, but friends of mine always talk about Doves.
Yeah?
It's supposed to be this band that's like sensational. But I would always I'm like, oh, you mean that band, The Doves? And they're like, Doves! And they'd slap me as hard as they could.
Screw that, dude. If you got friends gonna slap you over music,
They taught me that the oh, it's an article, correct? The is an article.
you mean like of the Constitution or the Articles of
I'm
Confederation?
just talking about grammar.
Oh. Don't ask me nothing about no grammar.
We're not going that deep with the word the, but in reality, like you take it off of something, and it's like you know, like Beatles.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, the does give emphasis to some things.
White Stripes, you know, the White Stripes. The Oasis.
The Monkeys. It was the that made the Monkeys even sound good.
Yeah, Monkeys.
Who's that? Monkeys.
Why are they not considered a real rock band? That makes me kind of sad.
Because they really weren't.
They pretty much were, though. Like, I believe it.
They didn't learn their instruments till after the whole like show charade. Haha.
Away with you.
Away with me.
I think that it's fine. They did fine.
I guess so. I mean, for a fictitious television group. I mean, Josie and the Pussycats did pretty good too.
I want to make another editor's note tonight on my pop culture references being off. This was not on the Spawn soundtrack. It was, in fact, on the Scream 2 soundtrack.
And you just threw away a copy of Scream 2 on burnt DVD.
It was a burnt DVD copy of it, and I actually like that. I like Scream 2, and I'll tell you why. I like the opening scene in the theater. I like the fact that that one guy, one of the killer guys, he's like one of those dudes that is in everything. But
Okay,
I don't know
yeah.
who he is.
Right?
But he's like one of those guys, like, he always kind of plays like kind of like a snarky, like, kind of weird, but like cool, but you like him, but you hate him kind of dude.
Yeah, another guy. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
always that role to fill in Hollywood.
But I liked Scream 2. I thought it was pretty good, and a lot of people hate it, and it is what it is. But this was on there, and I see why.
Cool. It was also on the Shrek soundtrack.
Not the song.
Not that
That
song,
would be
but
great.
there was a
man.
song on this album on the
Yeah,
Shrek soundtrack,
yeah,
as we learned
that's-
earlier.
Whew, that would have been a much better scenario, though, for real.
Well, I think it might be time for beer 3.
Oh!
I know Josh's mug has been empty for a moment, and I'm just finishing up number 2.
I've been over here mean mugging.
Mean mugging.
That's a new. I'm gonna put that. Can I add things to the Urban Dictionary?
If you want, I don't know.
Like, is that a thing?
I think you have to make an account.
Oh no! It's another password I remember.
Right?
Oh, I just use the same one I've been using for everything.
Right? For 20 years.
I just had to add a freaking symbol. That throws it off though.
Yep.
Is that an A or is it a 4?
Is
Oops,
it
too much
capitalized?
info. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you.
It's
You
case
know?
sensitive, though.
Yeah, I'm a little case sensitive. For real though, I would make an account.
I would not. I mean, that's like making an account for people at Walmart. Who cares?
A Walmart account?
No, the website people of Walmart.
Yeah. Walmart's website is cool now. It's like Amazon.
Hey, they're trying to be Amazon.
I think they're gonna put Amazon on the run.
Think so?
But the free market, man. The free market! For real though, it's they're using third party, so they're basically creating a hub for like other businesses to put their product through them. So they'll like ship it, help do that whole deal. But there are other people selling it. Like my bike was from another place in California, but I bought it off Walmart.com. But it was another company that was putting it on there somehow. I don't get the behind the scenes portion of that, but whatever. I'm sure somebody's like getting cutthroat because of it.
Probably.
And I feel bad about that, but it's business, I guess. They're out in business. There are sheep and there are sharks, and the sharks can't turn around because they've got no necks.
I used to know a lady didn't have a neck.
What was she like?
She was just a nice lady, but she seriously didn't have a neck.
Man, she sounds cool.
Yeah, she was alright. Let's see. Well, it's either time for a third beer, because
Hey, you got me. You
may
got
as
me
well.
a beer.
May as well. We might have to take a word from our sponsor too while we're thinking about it.
Ooh, and who do we got today? Who's today's sponsor,
well,
there, Mr. Page?
Today's second sponsor is Ferguson and Ferguson. They're a law firm.
Oh,
and
you know,
they're-
I was recently divorced, and let me tell you, anybody out there listening, get a lawyer. And Ferguson, they're your dudes.
They you dudes.
They got me so hooked up that you don't even know.
So, a word from our sponsor, folks.
Were you or a loved one injured in an automobile accident? Or are you suffering from an uncomfortable transvaginal mesh? Or maybe your boy grew some titties after taking some weird medication? Were you exposed to asbestos? What about mesothelioma? Well, give us a call now here at Ferguson and Ferguson. We will take on all cases, big and small. We will get your money. Ferguson and Ferguson, fighting to get your money.
All right.
Welcome
Beer number
back.
3. 2 dudes, tunes, and brews. The game show where we drink beer and you listen to us.
And whoever gets to the end gets another beer.
That's right. So BYOB. I hope you brought your own list.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3.
Oh!
All right. Beer's number 3s.
Beers
Numbers 3s.
number 3s. Dudes.
That'd be a good band name. Like we were talking about earlier. Good band name. Beer's numbers 3s.
Beers number 3s. I would totally go see Beers number 3s.
Right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude.
It's one of those ones that like it would totally lose its like meaning after you say it like 3 times in a row.
And then once it's on a T-shirt, it's money.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it.
Once it's on a T-shirt, it is money.
I love it, dude. Beers number 3s.
If it's on a T-shirt, it's money or it's mustard. You decide. Turn to page 96 for it to be mustard.
Oh, do you remember that Full House episode where Stephanie like borrows DJ's sweater, and DJ's like, I don't want you wearing my sweater, and like Stephanie's like, fuck you, and she totally does, and then she's like eating a fucking hot dog and mustard on the sweater,
Of course.
and she's like, oh my god,
Of course.
and then she fucking takes that shit back home and cleans it, and it shrinks, and so she gives it to Michelle, and then there's like something happened. I don't remember the rest of the episode, but.
Well, to answer your question, no, I do not remember that episode of Full House.
Hey, do you like Full House?
No, not really. I saw old Dave Coulier's in a new commercial getting like pulled out of a couch.
What?
Yeah, and he like even does the cut it out, like, you know, uncle. Which uncle was he?
He wasn't an uncle. He was just Danny's roommate in college.
Really?
It's totally creepy.
Is he Uncle Danny? Uncle who?
Joey.
Uncle Joey. That makes it even creepier.
Totally creepier.
It's San Francisco, so it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, man. We're just raising 2 girls. It's like 3 men and a little lady.
Yeah.
It's just 3 men and 3 ladies. I'm talking about that. How come Ted Danson didn't show up? Why do they have crossover between that?
Danson.
I totally would have watched that. Oh, so to answer everybody's question, that guy who was the killer in Scream 2 was Timothy Olyphant. Olyphant? Olyphant. How would you pronounce that? Olyphant. But he's that dude. He's pretty cool. He's in a show with Drew Barrymore now. I see it on Netflix. I don't know if you've seen it.
Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah.
My woman just finished watching that one.
Yeah.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah,
he
that
was
guy.
in Hitman. I was surprised that he was in Hitman because they shaved his head. He was bald,
Hmm.
and he's playing Hitman. And I was like, "Fuck, no way, that guy."
I like those guys that make you go, that guy.
Yeah, they're the best. Those are the best actors.
That means they're not annoying. That means you're excited to see it when you go, hey, it's that guy.
I wonder what he's gonna do.
It's kind of like hearing, you know, Black Betty on the radio, or, you know, one of those songs that you hardly ever hear, but you do hear it.
I couldn't get tired of Black Betty. I don't think.
No, dude, that and like Mississippi Queen.
I don't think it's like they didn't have anything to prove with those songs. They were just rocking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They had to prove something, bro. They had to prove that it rocked.
I just think
That's
I just think they were just so organic with it, though. It wasn't like trying to impress anybody, but it was so impressive. You know,
It's pretty epic.
it's like cowbell.
Yeah, especially like the extended cut with all the solo and the rocking, and it was like Southern rock and like, you know, Detroit rock met each other.
I think that Aretha Franklin should have done more in the rock world, and I think that because have you heard The Weight?
The Weight, yes. Oh, with one with Dwayne Allman.
Yes, it's so impressive that it's like she could have taken the rock world by storm.
Yeah, she's
In
pretty
so
cool.
many ways, but it's like she did what she did with, you know, her musical talent. But there's a lot of artists like that, though. I think could have been more with that, like that grit and that growl. She's one of them. I think Michael Jackson's another one. I think he could have been more of a rock star than trying to be R&B in so many ways.
Pop.
Yeah, with the pop R&B aspect of it, and if he would have just kept with that growl and that grit, but another thing that he utilize his talent the way he decided. So
I mean, his voice is a little high for that real grit, but I mean, I guess he pulled it off.
oh, Bad is pretty cool.
I keep thinking of the Weird Al version of that instead.
Well, Fat rules.
Yeah, you ain't fat, you ain't nothing.
Yo, ding dong.
Ding dong, man.
He's like, what do you want, a diet? Oh man, that whole opening scene is just glorious. It's everything, and I got to show that off to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome, and now they love it.
So,
it's so good.
I'll have to bring my CD book next time. I found my old CD book from high school, and in the very back, like hidden away, is my old Weird Al collection. I used to love Weird Al.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes.
What's your favorite album?
Oh man, can you really have a favorite Weird Al album? I mean,
Weird album.
they're all dated. They're all songs like after a certain year. They're just all songs from the period between that album and the last album that were relevant at the time. It's kind of like That's What I Call Music, but it's just Weird Al's parodies.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I call Yankovic.
Like, let's see. Okay, let me try to recall some memories here. You go back to Bad Hair Day, Weird Al. Bad Hair Day, that was Amish Paradise.
Okay, yeah, right.
Paradise.
Julio parody with the hair and shit on the album cover, yeah.
Then after that, it took a while, but I think it was Running with Scissors that had the Saga Begins parody.
Still love it, yeah.
And after that, I quit,
And then you had like the
figuring it
Poodle
out.
one.
Poodle Hat.
Poodle Hat, and then
See, I hadn't really listened to those because
no, they just came
I
out.
looked at the track listing and I figured out the joke for myself because it wasn't really that deep and creative. Not like My Baloney from 1979.
It's just surprising that he's continued being relevant in a sense to like he still puts out music videos. He still stays on the platform.
Exactly. Like I said, he's like That's What I Call Music, just
Yeah.
parodies. So I mean, a good Weird Al album was back when he like wrote a bunch of his own too. Like,
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, it seems like there's probably like a punk band out there where he fronts it and nobody knows about it.
I could do that'd be cool.
I would love to see that. Like some other sort of just like outlet that is
Like have his own like super like prog rock group where he's like the guy from Jethro Tull.
Yeah, I mean he's so amazing on the accordion that it's like he could be doing anything. And I'm sure he plays outside of just what he does.
Probably.
Maybe, or maybe not. You know,
Maybe he just sits around all day playing My Baloney for
My Baloney of all the songs. Hey, wait out! Why don't you play My Baloney again? Don't you guys want to hear something else?
No, I do not.
Did you ever see his show?
No,
Like
I've
Saturday
never.
Morning Kids show?
Oh, Saturday Morning Kids show? I don't think so. I saw what was it, UHF?
I have not actually seen UHF. It's definitely on the list.
Twinkie Weenies, bro. Twinkie Weenies.
Twinkie Weenies. What's a Twinkie Weenie?
Twinkie Weenie is a food that he shows some dude in the movie. It's a Twinkie, and you cut it down the middle, and you slap a hot dog in it.
Yes! That sounds
Actually,
really good.
I think he called it a Twinkie Wiener sandwich, though.
Well, Twinkie Weenie sounds good to me. I'd do the Twinkie Weenie. And I would say that sounds actually like probably pretty good.
It might be. I mean,
Do you think mustard would be too much? It would offset the sweetness.
oh yeah, mustard's god awful as it is, but
It's kind of like a poor man's corn dog. Sponge cake around a.
not really. I mean, if you're poor, you're gonna have the corn dog. If you got money, you're gonna have the Twinkie Wiener sandwich. But it's got extras like sponge cake and sugar and cream.
True. That's true, man. I didn't really think of it like that.
Beer number 3, going down smooth. Cook's Light.
Oh, I love it.
It's
I
dog
love
barking.
Cook's Light. It's that, like I said, good, crisp, clean, delicious, and you can still live your life after that. You couldn't drive after year 3. Oh,
Well,
if you
I'm gonna hang out for a while. So
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't drive. Yeah.
you shouldn't drive after 3 of any, but
Sometimes.
sometimes you really need eggs.
Yeah, and milk and sugar. And sometimes you're gonna make a cake
Yeah.
in the middle of the night because you've been drinking Cook's Light. That's just how the world goes, you know.
So,
If I had eggs, I would make some cake. got sugar and flour. What do you got?
I got on me. I have nothing. No, I have no baking.
Are you reaching your pockets? Are you like throwing money at me? Like,
no.
I'm not intimidating you.
I was
right?
seeing if I had any baking ingredients in my pockets. I thought I might have had some imitation vanilla extract.
Well, spatula.
Alrighty. Anyways, so tonight we had Cook's Light, and I think on a scale of 1 to 5 brews,
I'd give it a 4.2 brews.
4.2 brews.
I'll give it a high end, but it's not perfect.
I'd give it a 4. No, I'd give it a 4. Yeah,
I think it's a 4 for sure. It's
a 4.
But I really don't. I think in terms of the light beers, it's probably one of the best I've had in a lot of ways in terms of a domestic. It's got a good zing to it. It's kind of got a cider-ish kind of like crispness to it. It's not like an apple flavor or anything, but it's like, you know, tart in its own little way. I don't know, it's crisp in that way. And then I would drink it again and again. It's probably how much for a case?
It is $10.99 for 24 of these in a can.
There you go. That in itself tells you that it's fantastic in price. So what's the alcohol content?
I don't think it says because they're ashamed, but I would guess probably about 4, 4.5.
Yeah.
About like a regular light beer.
Yeah, I'd say 4.5 to 5, maybe.
It's 113 calories a can. 7 grams of carbs. Whew. I better run tomorrow. That's a joke. Screw that.
He ran here.
There's no protein.
No, I wouldn't expect that. It's just made from grains.
Yeah, I mean.
I can deal
with that. So this is not an adequate meal substitute.
Are you saying booze ain't food?
Booze is not food.
I don't believe you, because I could survive. I've survived days on just booze.
Well, we all have. So.
Yeah.
What about this album, Eels?
Eels
Beautiful Freak, 1996.
What were you rating? I think
on a scale of 1 to
5 brews.
1 to 5 brews. I'd probably give it a 3.5, 4. I mean, it was a nice background album. Had some pretty good little moments there. It sounded good.
That's a positive for sure. I would give it a 4, 4.5. I would put it a little higher just because I like the dynamic of it. I like how solid it was as an album. It felt very like together. There were the placement of the highs and the lows, the dynamics and everything were pretty good. I like the opening track. Yeah, I would definitely listen to it again. It's the few singles off of it I've heard several times, and I've liked them for many years. And the entire album itself, I would definitely keep in my collection.
Yes, and this album actually came from Josh Froman's collection. I agree with everything you said about it. It was a pretty good synopsis of the sound. Yeah.
Are you shocked by the parental advisory label?
I am. Like, nothing stood out to me.
I mean, there's a couple, there's one he says, it's fucking with my head. Boom. That's a fuck, but I wouldn't go so far as that.
I mean, you dropped more F-bombs tonight than this guy did.
Yeah, I'm more of a parental advisory than anyone in this room.
Let's see.
Perhaps.
Probably, I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I didn't catch any explicit lyrics, but
I didn't really.
I wasn't looking for them.
He's pretty poetic. Yeah, that's the thing about keeping the background, you know.
Yeah, keeping the background. I mean, it's just something we can just like chill out and.
I think I would play this album. Yeah, that's another thing we should include is would I play this album around my kids? That's another thing I'm interested in how other people feel about.
Well,
things.
honestly, we're sitting here, we're drinking beers. We're not going to be as objective about it as if our kids were around. Because it's just background noise. If we're driving in the car and there's a lull and it's quiet, and he does drop an F-bomb, you didn't catch before, and your kid catches it, and you know, he drops the F-bomb, it's like, oh crap. So, you know, you really got to keep the explicits away from the children.
Do you think that we're better at that than our parents were? Or
I think things are freer now than they were when we were younger. Like, you weren't hearing this language like it is now, really, when we were kids. Yeah. As often, you know.
Yeah, it was more of a
Now it seems everyone's vulgar just to be vulgar for the sake of being vulgar, you know?
It's almost middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the kid on the back of the bus who's like calling you a loser and everybody's laughing, and then it's like, man, I'm 30 years old. Why am I on a bus? But you know, public transit, nothing against that. It rules. Vote for people that do that stuff.
If you want.
Yeah, if you want to. We support you doing whatever you want. So support that. The reality of things is I really like googly eyes. You should too. Put googly eyes on anything and everything, and life is better.
I put googly eyes on all my plants.
He's done that. I've seen it. The tomato plants, he put googly eyes all over the tomatoes, all over everything. It was
I didn't. I'm talking about a sketch from Saturday Night Live.
Oh, I'm just making this up then. I saw it. Everybody.
Jacked.
I see. It was a soft jack at best.
Alrighty. Anyways, so I'm about to drink the end of my third beer, and Froman is finishing his. The album's been done for probably 10-15 minutes now. I haven't been keeping track, but I believe.
I think this is the time where everything is good. We want to thank you guys for showing up, listening,
Sticking it out.
If you're eating a sandwich right now, you can go ahead and finish that. We will allow that.
We had highs and we had lows, but
Did you
we
have
got
pickles?
through it together.
Yeah, we together. We do this.
So thanks for joining us this week, and
we'd like to thank our sponsors.
Yeah, Ferguson and Dunkel Motors.
Yeah, balls deep in Fords.
Balls deep in Fords.
So if you just keep on coming back, and we'll keep on throwing it at you.
Yeah, if you want to, you can like and subscribe and stuff. But it's cool. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We'll just keep doing this anyways. So, dudes,
tunes,
brews,
dudes,
tunes,
and brews.
We're dudes.
Dudes.
Listen to tunes.
Listen to tunes.
Drinking some brews.
Drinking some brews.
We're dudes.
We're dudes.
Listening to tunes.
Listen to tunes.
And drinking some brews.
And drinking some brews.